Welcome to TYRO TV. I'm Ron TYRO.
And I'm Cathy TYRO. And for those of you that don't know our story, Ron and I did 15 years in the prison system. Ron doing time on the inside while the kids and I did the time on the outside.
And out of our experience, we were able to develop a powerful, life-changing curriculum called TYRO. TYRO is a Latin word which means apprentice, novice, someone learning something new, a warrior,
or a founding father.
Woo!
And so what we are seeking to do with TYRO is help fathers that are incarcerated learn to become leaders in their home, their community, and their workplace.
Now, in a sense, being a dad, you're put in a position with no learning, right? You became a dad. There's no manual.
No manual, right?
There's no schooling. But now that you're a father, right, and now you're at a place I want to embrace this new job, this new mantle that I got to carry. I'm not running from my responsibilities. I'm not running from my calling. I'm not running from what I am now a father. I'm embracing all of it. Well, that's what we come in. We want to help you really understand the ins and outs of what does it mean to be a dad? What does it mean to be a great father? All you can be when you talk about I am a dad.
Right. And so all of the principles and precepts that we put in the TYRO programs are things we learn through our own journey. We know it's hard. We know as you sit there and you think, okay, yeah, but I'm hardly seeing my kids. I don't feel like I really have an influence in their lives. Or worse yet, maybe you're thinking it doesn't even matter if you're part of your kids' lives. Well, we're here to tell you it does matter, and it is important, and you do have an opportunity to impact your children's lives, even from where you are right now.
So today we're going to talk about whose job is it anyways?
And that's a great topic.
Yep.
Whose job is it anyway? Or what one we hear often is, well, that's not in my job description, right?
Ooh-wee.
Or I didn't make the mess.
And so that's what we want to talk about. Whose job is it anyways? And this is a broad, we're taking the paintbrush and we're just going to give a big broad stroke to what does it mean to be, or how do you define it?
You're a little dangerous with that pen.
Well, be careful.
I keep feeling big broad strokes. Right?
So whose job is it anyways? And what do we mean by that? What do we mean by when we say that? Whose job is it anyways?
So when we come back, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to talk about, well, what is it we're talking about when we say whose job is it anyway? Then we're going to explain why that's important that you really understand whose job it is, and then really how to live that way.
So stay tuned. You don't want to miss this because we guarantee you're going to get something that's going to change your life. We'll be right back.
TYRO Dads will help you to see who you really are on the inside by coming to terms with your past, present, and future. You'll begin to move forward by using your time on the inside to transform yourself. We know you're not the only one serving time. Your family is too. Overcoming the issues that existed prior to and during incarceration are often more than what many families can survive. TYRO Dads has a unique method of reaching and healing families based on Ron and Catherine TYRO's own personal experiences. TYRO Dads works exclusively with incarcerated fathers who have minor children. The program lasts for 10 weeks and focuses on intensive character development. You'll be taught to take responsibility for your actions, to own it. You'll be prepared to overcome the obstacles of incarceration and transition back into your home and community, both successfully and permanently. Upon successful completion of this program, you will earn the title of TYRO, which means a warrior, someone learning something new. You will be one of the honored, a man worth following. If you think you have what it takes to be a TYRO, or you want to know more, contact your local project facilitator or your institution staff.
Welcome back to TYRO TV. I'm Ron TYRO.
And I'm Cathy TYRO. And today we're talking about whose job is it anyway?
And that's almost like a sitcom, right? Whose job is it anyway? I feel
that's not my job.
And we hear that a lot. Or actually, we can watch that in real life when we see things that are not in the right place and people just walk by it. People are just moving.
Oh gosh, not just walk by it, walk over it.
Yep.
Trip over it and just keep going, right? And that's ridiculous. It's like, whose job is it anyway?
To bring order in your life, to bring order around you, to help bring order out of the chaos in your children's life, Dad. Come on, whose job is it anyways, right? You're not called to be their friend, right? You're called to be their dad, their father, and their number one cheerleader.
You're called to make their lives better, more fulfilled, more full and cause them to be more prepared to enter into adulthood, more prepared to face all the obstacles that they're going to face right now in their life and through the coming years in order to navigate across that bridge into responsible adulthood. And so when we say, whose job is it anyway? We're not just talking about, putting food on the table or actually showing up at sporting events. We're talking about the little things in life that come up that you didn't have anything to do with, that create a distraction in your life and for your children. Learning to be a leader in your community is what we're talking about.
So whose job is it anyways to help clean up a mess? Whose job is it anyways to help clean up thought patterns? Right?
Well, you know what? Let's use an example. So we've got tons of examples. So Ron, you give me an example first.
All right, I got one. I'm driving along the road and, you're driving and sometimes there's wind storms and there's wind all over, and sometimes a trash can from somebody's yard will get blown into the road.
Oh, I remember that.
So whose job is it anyways to go and move that trash can?
So I always have to butt in for my 2 cents. So
All
we're
right.
driving along the road and all of a sudden the traffic is just stops and then it's creeping along really slow. So as we get up there, we realize that what's happening is there's a trash can in the middle of the road. Now this is a 25 mile per hour stretch of highway, maybe 30. It's not like a
I think it's 25 miles per hour.
Yeah. Yep. And so these cars are almost to a stop. They're waiting for the other traffic. They're going around the trash can, another one. So this line of traffic is slowed down because of this one trash can in the road.
So when we get up to it, I do, whose job is it anyways?
Right.
The person who sees the trash can jump out the car and move it, put it back on the sidewalk. You may not even put it at the right house.
Right.
And just get it off the road. Right?
So we pull up, Ron stops the car, puts his flashes on, gets out of the car, moves the trash can, sets it up, and everybody is hey, waving at the car, thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, the fact of the matter is any of those people could have very easily done the same thing, but they didn't do it.
But why is that? Why is it that when we see something, right, and we say, it's not my job.
That's not my trash can.
It isn't my business. It is, and that's why when I found myself in prison, that was one of the reasons why I wind up in prison. Because nothing was my job.
Right. That's right.
It was somebody else's job.
That's right. I wasn't responsible for
nothing,
anything.
right? Bills,
Nothing.
Right?
I just step right over it, walk right through it, trip through it, right?
Oh my goodness.
So as Ron did that, our daughter's sitting in the back seat and she's like, wow, Papa, so you took 2 seconds to stop and move that trash can. And her next question was, why didn't anybody else think of that?
And it's not that they didn't think of it, right? It's that they didn't act upon it, right? They said to themselves, should I or should I not?
It's not my job.
It's not my job. You know what? Or I don't care.
But it took longer to sit there at the roadside and wait for the traffic to go so that you could go around it than it did for Ron to get out of the car and move the obstacle out of the way. And it taught a valuable lesson to my daughter that, you know what, I need to be contributing to society around me. So then out of that example, it was a great example, because then fast forward, not even a week later, so we are headed into the grocery store. And as we're going to the grocery store, again, another kind of windy, blustery day, as Pooh would say, it's a blustery day,
Oh
right?
yeah, Pooh, I like Pooh.
so
Pooh
we
Bear.
see, we open the car door, and one of our napkins kind of flies out. So Bria grabs the napkin. Well, then somebody else pulls up. They open their car door, and papers go flying everywhere. They close their door, and they walk back in. They walk into the store where now there's papers. So she goes running around. She picks up all these papers, and then she takes them up to the lady and says, I don't know if you realize that these came out of your car. And the lady didn't know it, but it was like, wow. She could have, had she not seen her father do the right thing and influence and make a difference for people coming behind, she would have just walked away and thought, well, that lady just lost all those papers.
You know, one of the things that, and this might be a pet peeve for me, is seeing when we go park your car, and I'm guilty of leaving it the grocery cart, not taking it back to the thing, right? You know, I'm in a hurry and stuff like that, and I believe I got it all the way, you know, but I've learned along the way that I need to stop that, right? So what I've been practicing doing is even if where you got to put the grocery cart is like 10, 15 car lengths away from where you're at, take the time to go put the grocery cart all the way away. Why? Because I want somebody to do that. Whose job is it anyways?
Right.
Right? Because my car has been hit by a wandering grocery cart that's being pushed by the wind.
Right.
Boom.
Right. Leave a mark on your
Leave
car.
a mark on the car.
And so not just put your own grocery cart back, but as you walk in the store, you see random grocery carts that are lonely out there.
Whose
stick 'em
job
in.
is it anyways?
Right.
Our job is to protect when?
All the time.
At all times. What? Everything.
So we just shared, we gave you some great examples on what are we talking about when we say whose job is it anyway? To do what?
Protect, right?
Make your community better and to set a positive example of contributing to society. So when we come back, we're going to take a pause real quick, take a quick break. We come back, we're going to talk about why it's so important, especially for your kids to see you doing it.
So stay tuned, dads, and we'll be right back.
Playing catch, basketball, laughing, and enjoying each other's company. These are all normal things on the outside, but many times are missed in a visitation setting. TYRO Dads brings the same fun experience to the inside through Family Days. As a TYRO Dad, you have the opportunity to participate in this fantastic event. Family Day is designed to allow fathers and families to engage with each other through activities designed to stimulate communication, learning, and play. Family Days will not only be a highlight for you, but for your children as well. The Ridge Project has strategically developed Family Day as an opportunity to help you connect with your child throughout your separation and help both of you develop skills to continue building your relationship when you return home.
Welcome back to TYRO TV. I'm Ron TYRO.
And I'm Cathy TYRO, and today we're talking about...
Whose job is it anyways?
That was pretty corny.
It's like a game show,
Oh
right?
my goodness, yes.
But you know what? It's a serious topic because I think we watch more people in life than not take the time to say, you know what? That might not be in my job description, but I'm gonna get the job done.
Right.
Right.
And you know what? People that become successful are leaders and then some. That they do all that they can and then some.
So in other words, I'm a dad and then some.
some.
I'm a husband and then some. Right?
I'm a member of my community and then some. So that means if I come up to something and something is not right and is creating some sort of disruption, I take it upon myself to, you know what? I want this park to be clean and I see trash here and they left their trash. Is it my job? Yeah, it is.
I remember a video I seen on YouTube a while back, and I'm gonna pull that up again. I don't know if we're able to show it on the show, but it was a scene of a little girl in the middle of the street, and she had gotten trapped there, and traffic just kept going around her. Do you remember that video?
Yeah.
And the video and the street cameras are catching this, and people are walking by. Nobody's taking the time to run out to the street to get her.
I mean, even most recently, the video of a man drowning, and people were just watching him drown.
Whose job is it anyway?
Whose job is it anyway? And then go back, rewind to like 2011. There was a man that drowned, and there were firefighters, police, bystanders. And when somebody was going to save them, they said, no, it's not your job, right? The authorities need to be trying to save them. And the police thought it was the firemen were going to do it. The firemen thought the police were going to do it. You know what? It is our job. It is our job. That's whose job it is. And why is it important? Because it teaches our children to be active members and leaders in their community.
You know,
followers don't step up to the plate.
You know, it's a great opportunity, dads, to really make a difference right where you're at. Whose job is it anyways? You know, we got porters in the penitentiary. You got people whose job is it to just clean the microwave. You got people, you know, it's not my job to make sure the microwave's clean, but yeah, it is. You know, take care of it for the next guy come behind you. You know what? You know people are using that phone. How many people are using that phone every day? But nobody takes the time to go get the disinfectant or whatever you got and to make sure the phone, you know, we got codes and going around in the prison because you're living in a quarter. But whose job is it anyways to make sure that there's a healthy environment? It's every man's job, every father's job inside that day room, in that dormitory, in that unit to make sure that it's a healthy environment.
The little things do count. They are your job. They are your job. They
It's-
are my job. When you think about being a leader, and we really want to, why is it important? Because you want to instill that same concept in your children. Because the people that do above and beyond, that the little things, the little details matter to, are the people that become successful. Okay, so when we think about whose job is it anyway, let me give you a great example of why it's so important to think about the little things. So the little things are what really distinguish the difference between a leader and a follower. Because most people don't take time to stop and say,
I think of the saying, he who is faithful in the little things will be faithful in the big things,
Okay.
or the
so
most.
let's share the story about how we got connected with one of our key mentors.
Okay.
So we go to a meeting. There's like, I don't know, 15 people at this,
Yep.
this community meeting. The guy that's leading it is this multimillionaire who really wants to make a difference, and he's looking for partners that will help him make a difference in people's lives.
So what we didn't know was that he set something up to pick somebody.
Right.
Right? So you don't know whose job is it anyways. It's always your job, whatever you see. But we didn't know that there was a scenario set up, when he got there. So we were like 10 back from the
Right.
people going in, right?
So as we walk in the room, so there's a marker on the floor. So Ron walks in before me. What he always does, he reaches down, there's something out of place, potential hazard, somebody could trip over it, reaches down, picks up the marker, puts it back on the whiteboard. And so we go in, we have this meeting. So what? How much later?
Well, after the meeting was over, he
Yeah.
said, hey, I need to talk to you two,
Yeah.
right? And he said, I put that marker on the floor. I'm like, what marker? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? He said, the marker you picked up. He said, I told myself I wanted to help somebody, and I was going to help the person who picked up that marker and put it where it belonged. And that happened to be you.
And he says, because
yep.
people that are, and then some people that really are truly trying to make a difference and make the world a better place, they take care of the little things.
Yep.
And that was huge. And so that was what, 5 years ago?
At least 5
Yeah,
years
and so
ago.
he's still walking with us, mentoring us because of that marker. So whose job is it anyway? It is your job.
No matter what it is, guys, listen, dads, your children are watching you and they're learning from you every day. If they see you walk by the garbage, guess what? They're gonna walk by the garbage too. If they see you let the laundry pile up, they're gonna let the laundry pile up.
If they see you walk through the poop and not care, they're gonna walk through the poop and not care.
Man, and don't walk through the poop, guys.
Right. So it is so
Clean it
important
up.
when you're thinking about building children to become future leaders and you want to reestablish a good reputation,
That's
then
right.
this is important. It is your job. So when we come back, we're going to talk about how.
So stay tuned. You don't want to miss this.
Dear son, it's been hard these last few years, watching you grow up without me in the picture. Never taking the time to find out how you were or what was going on in your life. You're just a boy, I thought. You don't need me. I didn't need my dad. He was never around, I told myself. But I was wrong, son. I'm supposed to be a grown man. I was selfish. I was stupid. I was thinking of me, not you. If I could go back, son, and change things, I would. It's taken me all this time being selfish to finally grow up and realize I need to be a responsible man. That's what I finally learned, not from prison, but the TYRO program. It's all about becoming a better, stronger man. Wish I would have gotten it sooner. Everything looks different to me now. I'm a changed person. I know I need to be there for you now. It's not about me anymore. It's not about being cool. It's not about who I run with. It's about mom. It's about you. It's about being a better man, learning something new in my life. It's about being a TYRO, a man worth following. I'm your dad. You're my son, and I love you. I am a TYRO. I'm a TYRO. Dad.
If you think you have what it takes to be a TYRO or just want to know more, contact your local Ridge Project facilitator or your caseworker.
Welcome back to TYRO TV. I'm Ron Tiarina.
And I'm Cathy Tiarina.
And you know what? This is my lovely bride. You know, she helps me understand whose job is it anyways.
That's exactly right. We all need somebody to help us along the journey.
You know, because
right?
I see things at the house, you know what? Hey, and I want to tell myself, and sometimes I say it out loud, hey, that's not my job.
And sometimes I say that, gosh, Ron will get that. That's not my job. But the truth is, if I see it, I ought to take responsibility for making my entire world a better place. So it does become my job. If I see something that could be a hazard or harmful to somebody else, step up and be that leader. And that is teaching your children not just personal responsibility, but also responsibility for other people in their community. Very, very valuable.
So dads, check this out. So we have one job, dads, as fathers, as TYRO dads, as TYRO men, right? Our job is to help people become better than who? Ourselves. That's your job. Right? Whose job is it anyways when you're in the day room or maybe you overhear a conversation of somebody that's struggling with their relationship with their wife and you got a great relationship with your wife, or you see somebody struggling with reading and you're a great reader, or you see somebody struggling what to write but you know what? Take the time, and you got to, in
or
prison,
you see somebody spill something and that they walked away, they didn't even realize they spilled it, and you see more people coming.
Yep.
Right? Take that time.
I know this is a bad one because you got a public bathroom in the penitentiary, and so you got a line of about 6, 7 sinks, right? And early in the morning, you got a line of guys brushing their teeth, right? But whose job is it anyways? It's the guy who's brushing his teeth. Clean it when you leave for the next guy. And these little things will help you become a great leader, because when you take those principles, he who is faithful in the little things will be faithful in the bigger things, right? And so when more responsibility is coming to you, you are already approving yourself with the little things, right?
So we're going to talk in this segment really about how. So we talked about, what is it we're talking about when we say whose job is it anyway? Why is it so important? And I hope we really established that, I think. So now let's talk about how. How do you actually begin to do that? Because we had to make this huge transition, and literally it begins with the way you think. The way you think is because if nothing's ever your job, then the chances are, gentlemen, you're not even taking personal responsibility for your own stuff, let alone somebody else's. So how to actually implement it is first, take personal responsibility for your own messes. If you make a mess, clean it up. If you get it out, put it back. Start with those really small things.
We can go back to when we were kids, right, guys? Come on now, let's tell the truth. We weren't allowed to get in our dad's toolboxes. Why?
Because you never put it back.
Because we never put it back, right? And the first time that happened, Dad says, nope, you're not allowed in my toolbox anymore. Why? What? I need a screw. Yeah, but I'm still looking for the last one you took. right? And be like, man. And so now, never really understand that. Now I got my own place. I got my own toolbox, and I'm working on sorting out, and actually I thank Cathy, because I see my sons and they got their stuff really nice and neat. And so now I'm still, I've been home now, 11 years?
No, they have their stuff nice and neat, because all we had growing up was a butter knife.
Yeah.
And so they're like, wow, a real screwdriver. Better take care of that.
And so practice makes what? Permanent. So my car might be immaculate clean inside and stuff like that, but I gotta make sure my toolbox has everything it properly needs. So what happens is, when I take out a screwdriver, I gotta put it back. Whose job is it anyways? The last person who touched a screwdriver, put it back where it belongs.
But let's say that they didn't put it back, and I walk in and I find it on the counter, and I say, ooh, that screwdriver is out of place. Now whose responsibility? Now it becomes mine. And so first is taking personal responsibility for your own stuff. Learning to manage your own life is really important, and that's the first step. The next step is look around and see what you can make better in your surrounding, especially if you see something, which we talked about earlier, that could create a hazard for somebody else. Stepping in, cleaning up that mess, moving that thing out of the way is a huge step.
I think an example of that is sorting socks.
Why you gotta go there? Okay, so what Ron's talking about is that I recently, actually over the summer, took a sabbatical from sorting socks, because our summer was so packed and so full. I was like, okay, you know what? I don't really need to be doing this. I'm gonna just take out all the clothes. We're mostly not wearing socks during the summer anyway. I'm just gonna dump all the socks into a pile.
So she tells me, hey, could you go upstairs into my closet and just...
After 11 weeks of not sorting socks.
And just get all the socks together and put them in a basket so we can start sorting them. I'm like, no big deal. I'm thinking it's just gonna be a small basket or load of socks. Right? There was actually a total of about, I'm gonna say,
mountain.
4 loads of socks. I'm like, who has all these socks? Where did they come from? And so...
It was mountainous.
So it's been a chore, but whose job is it anyways? It's our family job to sort socks. But now the thing about it is, we want to make the process a lot easier and a lot better. So we heard of a way to do it. And we'll share with you in a little bit how to sort socks. But the point of this we're making, whose job is it anyways to keep the laundry room clean, to do the laundry, fold clothes, and put the clothes away?
Okay, let's just sum it up. Whose job is it anyway to set the best example for your children? It's your job. It is your job to do that by example, by walking out and living out all of the expectations that you're putting upon them, making the world a better place. It's not a cliche. It actually requires attention to detail and daily action.
Whose job is it anyways to bring order to the surroundings of your children? It's your job, Dad. No matter how you feel, no matter what's happening at work, no matter what's the community doing, it's your job to be steady. Whose job is it anyway to hold the standard? Dad, it's your job. But if you're not holding the standard, if you're living a life of, you know what, do what you want to do, or do what I tell you to do, don't do what I do, that ain't gonna work.
So when we come back, we're going to wrap it all up with 3 practical tips of things that you can begin practicing that will help you really have a mindset of, you know what, it's my job to make this world a better place. So stay tuned.
We'll be right back.
TYRO Dads will help you to see who you really are on the inside by coming to terms with your past, present, and future. You'll begin to move forward by using your time on the inside to transform yourself. We know you're not the only one serving time. Your family is too. Overcoming the issues that existed prior to and during incarceration are often more than what many families can survive. TYRO Dads has a unique method of reaching and healing families based on Ron and Catherine TYRO's own personal experiences. TYRO Dads works exclusively with incarcerated fathers who have minor children. The program lasts for 10 weeks and focuses on intensive character development. You'll be taught to take responsibility for your actions, to own it. You'll be prepared to overcome the obstacles of incarceration and transition back into your home and community, both successfully and permanently. Upon successful completion of this program, you will earn the title of TYRO, which means a warrior, someone learning something new. You will be one of the honored, a man worth following. If you think you have what it takes to be a TYRO, or you want to know more, contact your local project facilitator or your institution staff.
Welcome back to TYRO TV. I'm Ron TYRO.
And I'm Cathy TYRO, and today we're talking about
Whose job is it anyways?
You like that, don't you?
I do, because you know what? It's my job.
That's right, because it makes us better people.
And it solves a lot of headaches, a lot of problems, a lot of discourse, a lot of dysfunction.
Right.
When you just take responsibility, right? Don't wait on the next person. And that's number one. Right. You know, that's what we want to give you right now. We're going to give you 3 tidbits on how to implement whose job is it anyways, right? When you're having a mind battle, should I do it or should I not? Right?
So just do it.
Just do it.
So the first one is a personal responsibility. We're talking about clean up after yourself, the sink, the toilet, your trash, right? Every mess that you make, if you get it out, put it back.
Yep. I remember, and really learning this, I was 25 years old when I went to prison. So really I was being taught, I'm in a cell with one guy, whose job is it anyways? You know what? Though I was physically 25 years old, I'm mentally 15.
12.
15.
12.
15.
Whoa.
Whose job is it anyway? So I had to be taught, listen, man, if you come in and you put your shoes here, put them underneath the bed, or literally, everything. Keep the sink clean, keep the bathroom clean, pick up after yourself, because I'm gonna be the next guy come behind you. And vice versa. As I evolved in penitentiary, I'd get a new cellmate. Guess what? I wanted him to understand, hey, these are the expectations that we have in this cell since we gotta live together, right? I didn't assume anything. Right? So I was the leader and I was the guide. Listen, these are the rules I set up. What rules would you like to set up?
So first one was personal responsibility.
Personal responsibility.
The second one is community responsibility. And that means finding opportunities to make a difference in your environment, not just for yourself, but when we say community responsibility, we mean saying, hey guys, let's go pick that up. Hey guys, let's wipe that down. Hey guys, let's do this. So gathering other people together with you, so you do it, and then you encourage people around you to do it with you.
Can you imagine, guys, if everybody in the day room contributed to cleaning the day room?
It'd always be clean.
And if everybody took care of their portion and then some, man, that unit you're living in right now would be a peaceful environment because everybody's contributing to a better way of life, right? Whose job is it anyways? It is not only your job, but everybody else's around you. And it's your job, which is number 3, to encourage, right?
And when we say encourage, we mean encourage your children to also take personal responsibility and community responsibility. Too often, parents stop encouraging their children just to take personal responsibility and leave out the part about community responsibility, which is a key ingredient for leaders.
You know, being a leader there's no such thing as a self-made man, Dad. You know, you have to be taught how to be a leader, a man of not only dignity, but a man worth following, Tyro. This is what we're talking about. And as you encourage your children, what it looks like to be, to grow up to become women of honor or men of honor, this is part of it. Whose job is it anyways, right? We're not talking about, hey, just pick up the slack where somebody, no, we're talking about taking the initiative, right? Taking the initiative and doing the job, getting the job done, right? You want to get promoted at work? Then you go get the job done and then some, right? You want to get a raise? This is how you get a raise. This is how you create family security, family sustainability by doing things like this.
You want to be a leader in your home. You want to lead your children into paths of righteousness and paths of hope and inspiration. Then it starts with personal responsibility, community responsibility, and recognizing that when somebody says, whose job is it anyway? Stepping up and saying, you know what? I will take that responsibility. It is my job.
And so, you know, don't run from it, man. The reason why we're in a predicament we're in now, you're finding yourselves in penitentiary, because you ran from responsibility. You ran from things that make great men, right? And one of them, whose job is it anyways? It's your job, Dad.
Well, we want to thank you for allowing us to be part of your journey. And we hope that you learned something today that's going to help you become a great dad.
People are counting on you. Your family is counting on you. Listen, becoming a TYRO is a lifelong journey. Did I say that right? A lifelong journey.
That's
right? The process that you embrace to change the way you think, to change the way you walk, to change the way you talk is part of this. Whose job is it anyways? It's my job. It's your job. So let's embrace this new way of thinking because everything around you, it's your job to make it better.
So until next time, always remember that
We are rooting for you.